blue screened, like at 0%. Like you had to hard restart it. And I restarted it, and it's like, there's no bootable device. And I'm like, yeah,
Yes, there
right.
is.
And then I turned it off, and I turned it back on, and sure enough, it was like, oh, your device is back. Congratulations. And I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? Is this just because I have an AMD graphics card that things keep crashing? I don't understand.
Well, it's because you need to turn it upside down at least every 4 hours.
Wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yes.
We are
also,
live.
we're live now. I was wondering if you realized that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fruits Basket podcast for season 3, episode 3. I was about to say episode 11 for some reason.
Wait, I think I got this mixed up. You know how this is season 3, episode 3?
Yeah.
I think I got those backwards. I watched episode 3 of season 3.
Oh, no. That's the one you weren't supposed to watch. You're supposed to watch season 3, episode 3.
Okay, that explains why I saw those things with the Kisa and the moon and Hibiki.
Hibiki. Yes, this is the Fruits Basket podcast, where me and Rising talk about the newest episode of the Fruits Baskets. Or that one time we talked about 2 episodes of the old Fruits Baskets.
Yes, we did do that.
Never talked about it again.
At least we're watching a good show this podcast.
But it's the same show.
Exactly, but this one has more and has stuff and has Toru.
I'm gonna die. I'm actually gonna die. Hello, everybody in the chat, which there is no one currently. How's everybody doing? Let's.
I'll say hi in chat so someone's there.
Someone's there?
Yeah, someone's in chat. I am there.
You are?
Yes.
Hi. Why is the chat not showing up for me on, like, do I have to refresh?
No, I just posted it. We also had Chris User 7 said something before we started.
Hola.
Okay, yeah, my chat thing. There you go. We have Alana Healy Devon there, so welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
It's super delayed
okay,
online.
now we have people
okay,
saying things.
Here we go.
Hi to Katrina Hudson.
Yeah, everything was super delayed for me for some reason. But hello, Alana and Katrina and Inkadu. How's everything going? And Rising. Sun reviews. Let's talk about season 3, episode 3. So last night on the King of Anime podcast, we talked about this episode, me, Satsuki, and EA. But so maybe some here will know my opinion right off the bat. So just to start with you, what did you think about the episode?
It was interesting. The part with Machi's backstory, I wonder if it felt like overly dramatic or overly dark. Because the thing about Fruits Basket is all the characters have like some sort of traumatic backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if by making them all that way, it starts to like lose the impact because it's like going around thinking, okay, we know that Yuki has a traumatic backstory. We know that Akito has a traumatic backstory and all of them. And I was like, okay, Machi has one too. And I wonder if that's pushing it beyond what is realistic. Because in a realistic world, some people have very traumatic backstories, that's true. But not everyone. So I'm just wondering if they're pushing that too much.
Well, I can see where you're coming from in that. As for me, this is one of my favorite episodes of Fruits Basket ever.
Okay, so you disagree with me. That's fine.
I don't know. We'll talk about it more in a couple moments. But yeah, this has usurped many episodes and has entered my top 5.
Huh, okay. I don't think it was a bad episode, but like I wasn't overly impressed by it.
Yeah, I thought this episode was just absolutely phenomenal in every sense. So, I guess like the main focus of this episode was Machi, and since you have some criticisms about that, or some thoughts on it at the very least, what did you think?
One of the things I liked is how they were starting to show things earlier in the episode. Like she was disturbed by the chalk that was like all perfect and new and everything. And she made a mess of it, which seems very odd and weird. But then they like use that to like introduce her trauma, how she has basically been made to be perfect by her parents, and so she hates anything perfect and is like disturbed by that.
Mm-hmm.
and they were like bringing it there. We learned that she was accused of trying to kill her younger brother, which, yeah.
Well, Super Bleach seems to agree with you. Says, in my opinion, Machi's backstory didn't hit as hard because of this.
I also feel like her parents' reaction to when they thought that she was like trying to kill her brother because she put a blanket on her felt like overly like it made no sense. Like, I think the trauma of it is she was accused of doing something really bad, even though she was trying to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So, which that even saying her parents are crazy, that seems like an extreme leap of logic that doesn't make any sense. And so, I also wonder, is Machi fully telling you the truth here?
Okay. You seem to have a lot of people agreeing with you this time. Usually you make people mad by saying crazy things and turning heel, but even Inkadu seems to agree. It says, as much as I love this episode, I felt they rushed the backstory. I don't know if it's probably because I read it at my own pace.
That could be too, like, if it was more fleshed out, I might not feel quite the same way.
Yeah.
It's also the fact, like, Fruits Basket has so many different plot lines going around. So typically when you watch a show, you get like the same characters every episode. So there's no like jarring nature of like switching which story you're going to tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I say for me is I didn't really notice those things, because for me, like with the parents, for example, and them overreacting, it felt natural to me because we've seen it in the past that many of the parents in the Soma clan seem to not be the most stable of parents and seem to do illogical, irrational, and overly cautionary moves, or just moves that totally isolate their children or do something bad. I mean, saw it with plenty of people like Momiji's mother and Kyo's mother. Those are... Sorry, continue.
Yeah, those are definitely cases. The parents or any of the characters aren't fully logical. They very messed up in many ways. But I feel like this was a bigger stretch than what they went through.
I mean, see, I don't think it is. At least for me, because yes, they took it way too far, like her parents did. But I still kind of feel that Machi, it just doesn't bother me as much, I guess, because I've seen it from the other parents, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so it's like you've seen this similar action so in a way that like normalizes it and makes it make more sense than if it's purely isolated.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely one of those things where you're like it feels like you're supposed to take examples from the previous times this kind of thing has happened to be like, okay, well this just
like that's like sort of level sets it.
Yeah, that's my approach to it, I guess. QRW6 says, what up, Scene Rising? Watched episode 3, both sub and dub. Props to Funimation for once for dubbing the graduation song, because it's been a long time since I heard a dub insert song. And 45 Dark Ray says, I guess on the parents,
Darkrai, like the Pokemon?
Maybe. I guess on the parent side, they probably see her slowly having outbursts, which could have them the impression she was jealous of her little brother. QRW6 says, I feel like Machi's parents are paranoid, thinking she still wants the secession.
Yeah, to go with what the QRW6 said, I actually watched the episode the first time in the dub, and I did think it was cool having the English insert song. So yeah, I agree with them there. Then when I rewatched it right before we were doing this podcast, I watched the sub, so it was cool like seeing both.
Yeah, I remember talking to Bob Samurai, or maybe it's something he tweeted on Twitter. He was talking about how dubs need to be more memorable and stand on their own. And I think that kind of thing of like taking songs and dubbing them makes them more memorable and stand on their own. And I think that's honestly what people want from dubs for the most part, is just something that's good and memorable.
So that was something I did notice, and I wasn't paying too much attention when I watched it last night. But when I was watching this sub, you remember the time where like Yuki and Machi both hit Kakura, and you could see like the bruise.
Mm-hmm.
In the sub, they like had a like notation saying like this is where Yuki hit him, this is where Machi hit him. I don't remember seeing that in the dub.
Um, that may be a closed captions thing you have to turn on.
Could
So
be, but it's still kind of annoying if the dub like doesn't show that.
yeah, what that may have been is that may have been a part of the subtitle captions for
Yeah.
the sub, because that usually what
Yeah,
happens.
Yeah, because they like had it in Japanese and then they put a subtitle there to like say this is what this is. Well, if
Yeah.
you're watching the dub, you see some random Japanese and that doesn't tell you anything.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. And see, that'd be cool if they actually went back and animated in, what that actually is. That'd be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, or if
Cost
they like
more money,
changed
but-
the notation to be English, like I don't know if they could do that easily, or if anything, just like put a subtitle there so people know that what that is.
yeah, at least the subtitle I think is fine.
Yeah.
So I guess back to the Machi stuff. For me, that stuff is really cool to see though, because while it did, I think, a lot for Machi's character to show kind of her mindset and the overall way that she approaches a lot of stuff. I think what it really did, and why it's so important, and why her growth is so important, is that when you juxtapose it with Yuki, like you can see how far Yuki has come.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Yuki got all the things that he got from Toru, right? All these tools, all of these experiences. He used all of that to further progress himself further in life, and now he's, with his friends now. Like he has his own friend group, and he's talking to Machi, and it seems they're really hitting off with each other. And when you see Machi go through all of this trouble and turmoil and all of this anguish, and you see Yuki beside her kind of being the one to guide Machi, it's cool, it's inspirational, it's a really cool moment for Yuki's character. And that's why I kind of titled this stream the way I titled it, because I think more than anything it shows just how Yuki has grown.
Yeah, it's not just important for Machi, it's important for Yuki. And what I like is that when Yuki was there with her, he wasn't thinking about Toru at all, at least not consciously, or
Yeah.
so we didn't see it. But instead, we could see the person he was, and then think about it, you realize he's the person he is because of Toru.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they don't need to like info dump that on us.
They don't at all. And that's what I love about Fruits Basket. I don't know if you noticed this as well, but this is the way I thought about the episode. To me, this had all of the qualities of a great Fruits Basket episode. And what I mean by that is the quality great. What I mean is, like, does it have all of the elements? Does it have all of the things that you would expect from a Fruits Basket episode? To me, it had everything. Sure, like, it didn't have Toru much in the episode, but I don't think it needed Toru much, because her impact was felt through Yuki. But it had,
Exactly.
it had great character interactions. It had relationships being developed and forwarded. It had a lot of revelations for characters and big turning points for them. Like, and trauma and all that stuff, and addressing the past and childhood and friendship and all that stuff. Like, it was all in this episode. Like, it had all of those qualities that you expect from a whole season in one episode.
Yeah, it feels like a season 1 episode in a way, with like
yeah.
how Toru is introduced to Asoma, but instead the Somas aren't here except for Yuki, and Yuki's taking Toru's role.
Oh, for sure. Like, now that you bring that up, I think Yuki has definitely become the Toru Jr. of the show in many ways.
Which, in a way, remember, like, he was wanting Toru to be like a mom figure for him, or he needed someone like that. So in a way, like, a Toru Jr. fits perfectly.
Right. And as well, maybe, that is what, everyone, like, needs something to complete themselves, I feel, in this show. And I feel like
Right.
Yuki has, for the most part, I think he's addressed a lot of his own issues because he's going out into the world now and interacting with people. Like, that was his
And
whole
we
thing in season 1, was like, he doesn't interact with anyone. He's closed off. And now and now we're like getting to the point where he's probably gonna, have a girlfriend and be in a
Right.
relationship. Like,
He's like
it's
grounded
insane.
himself with Toru and now Kakeru and Machi and all the others.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Yuki has, for the most part, kind of went to the end of, like, we're at near the end of the road for his character,
Yeah.
which is awesome to see.
Something else I thought was interesting is how Machi described herself as flawed, warped, and no good. And that just like feels like the Somas and their trauma too.
It does. It definitely does, because and I think that plays as well with Yuki's isolation themes from season 1, because Machi's going through the same thing as all the Somas are. Isolation. And that's,
Right.
by the way, that's what happens when you isolate yourself. And that's why I think many people, especially in the anime community, would get a lot from this show, because a lot of people in the anime community seem to isolate themselves. And of course, everyone right now is isolating themselves, But a lot of people in the anime community are like, yeah, the pandemic wasn't bad for me. I'm always spending time alone. I don't think people realize, like, when you're alone, when you're isolated, it does a innumerable amount of damage to your health, both physically and mentally. People are social creatures. So when you isolate yourself, you feel like you're worth less. You feel like you're a bad person or whatever. And the reality is so far from the truth, and that's what's happening to Machi. She has isolated herself. And that's why she's so surprised when Yuki says what he says to her. And she's like, "Really? Will you go walk in the snow with me?" And that's just because she's lived a life of isolation, for the most part, from other people, the same way Yuki has.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what Yuki said doesn't seem like anything that special, but for Machi it was, because she's never heard that before.
Right. And that's that is something that I think plays out a lot through Fruits Basket season 1, which brings up what you said earlier about how this episode felt a lot like a season 1 episode. It had a lot, and because it does. But yeah, like, Machi's just a really cool character. I also sort of, I said last night on KOA, I relate to a part of her story where she was pitted against, like, others, and like this rivalry. I sort of had a little bit of a similar thing when I was growing up. Now, obviously, that did a lot of good for me, I think, because a lot of the things that I'm into now are because of that rivalry that my parents had with each other, of like, my kid's better than your kid. So, like, doing YouTube is like one of the things that came from that, and as well playing guitar, music, that is something that came from that. So, two of pillars in my life. But yeah, I think I'm maybe a little bit more biased for Machi's character, because I can sort of relate to her a little bit more.
That could be too. And I really liked her in season 2, like how she felt like a void with everything, and like how she just wasn't feeling. And I think for me, that's probably the part I'm more related to, and like wanting to have something to make me or her feel.
Yeah, I think that's something many people relate to. In a world that kind of pushes us not to feel a lot of the times, because feeling is weak. I think some people still kind of feel that way. Like, I think that's a very relatable message. That people just kind of want something to make them feel, not just make them feel, I guess. I think make them feel alive, and make them feel like they've done something besides just the same old, something new, something to spice things up.
Yeah, some sort of excitement or connection or something in life.
Yeah.
And that's definitely we've seen that with a lot of characters, going from like feeling the void and not caring to finding people they care about and stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, QRW6, we will get to Ren later. That's in my notes. If he skips it, I will hurt him.
Ren is great.
Yes, Ren is great.
Oh
yes, and I loved how Kakure was spying on them, and then his phone went off because, well, good comedy. Oh, as a QRW6 said, I don't know if he read that one, but how Kimmy was the other comedic highlight, wanting a guy with lots of money.
Yes, Kimi was like Kakure was like, what do you want in a man? And Kimi's like, well, his money.
I mean, what would you rather have, a guy with lots of money or a really tall guy?
I mean, can I say both?
Yes.
Both.
All right, fair enough.
Like, if we're asking about a preference, then both.
Yeah.
Star Simvids says Machi's parents stigmatized her as just a violent problem child, so it was easy for them to assume she was hurting her brother, which I think is crazy because you look at Machi and you're like, oh my god, she's adorable, must protect.
Yeah, when you get to know her, at least. She's one of the characters that took me like a long time to warm up to.
That nerd who likes Star Wars, okay, says, yay, someone's talking about the show. Yeah, we've talked about this show for the past 3 years. The first link in the description is a link to every single episode of the Fruits Basket podcast.
Yes, your homework is to watch them all by next week.
Yes, and if you don't, then you're fired. Simple as that.
Exactly. I didn't know we were firing viewers, but okay.
Yeah, we can fire viewers, right?
Yes.
Roblox Play says, hello, long time no see. What's up, Roblox Plays? How's everything going? Katrina Hudson says, do you know when the next episode will come out? Next Monday.
It comes out Monday, so it should be out then. Unless you know something we don't.
Yep.
Which is definitely possible.
Which is possible. Maybe Katrina had some ins, with the industry, and put this message in here when she shouldn't have.
Oh, yep, she's going to be kidnapped by the industry NSA.
Yep, they don't. The United States government do not like when Fruits Basket is leaked.
Yes, or when Fruits Basket is delayed. I'm sure it is the president's favorite anime. It's not getting my mental images.
Okay, so any other kind of final thoughts on, or any thoughts in general just on Machi's character this episode? I think she's just adorable.
Yeah, I think I said, something I found really interesting is like she does not like snow because of like perfect and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but in Japanese, the word Yuki means snow.
Ah, so she actually in reality hates Yuki. That rat bastard. I'm okay, I'll take him.
I'm wondering if that was like an intentional or if that was just a coincidence, but I feel like it makes a really cool connection here.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting observation, I think.
Yeah. Like one of the 5 words of Japanese I know.
Yeah. I don't know any words from the Japanese. I think all I know is hamburger. So, there we go.
Yes. Okay, I did not think about your last statement. So, moving on.
Well, I also, actually, one final thought about Machi, now that I think about it, is when Yuki breaks the chalk, to me...
Oh, yeah.
Because he does it in the middle of, addressing people, right? It's like it's almost second nature for him to do that, to help her out. And that right there, I was like there are moments in this anime where I'm like, take me now, Yuki. That was one of them, because the guy is so thoughtful that he immediately knows, like, just out of the corner of his eye, what to do with the chalk to make her calm down.
Well, it's not even that. Like, he knew, okay, this chalk is going to mess with her. It's like he hardly even thinks about it. He doesn't, like, break away from what he's talking about. He just, like, goes over there. Okay, that's taken care of.
Consummate professional.
Yes. So that just shows, like, how ingrained that is into Yuki's mind, subconscious, whatever you want to call it.
And that is why we need to ship Yuki with me.
No, I'm shipping him with Machi.
Ah, damn it! Come on, like at least
I
for
mean,
like a week or something.
no, you've had him for the first 2 seasons.
What? I'm established. Come
You can
on.
have Ayumi.
Oh, okay. He's a bottom. I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
We can deal with that. Enkidu says it's probably high expectations on my part. All right. Oh, it's talking about
Yeah,
what he was saying earlier.
Star Simvids was saying that the Machi part was like half the episode. They adapted everything loyally, which I'm not saying they didn't, but I still think it was not presented as well as it could have been for me to like understand and like follow along and really feel what it wanted me to feel.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I also don't think just because it follows the manga, it's necessarily good. Because, well, I don't care about how loyal an adaptation is.
I just care if the story is good.
Exactly.
Like if that means adapting the story 1-to-1, then yeah, I want a 1-to-1 adaptation. But like we've already seen, like this story is totally fine with swapping stuff around, and that's usually what the best adaptations are, in my opinion. Are like we were talking about earlier, makes it stand on its own and different and unique for dubs. It's the same thing with adaptations. You gotta, like, you can't just do 1-to-1. But I think that's digressing a little bit. But QRW6 says Yuki X Machi is what I want, and can we ban QRW6?
All right, let's see. Right click, ban, SeaTactics.
No! Not my own podcast! I'm just asking for 1 more week. I cry.
No more weeks. All right, okay, I won't ban you for another week.
So the stuff with Monoko was pretty interesting. What did you think about that?
I forgot what her name was.
Monoko.
Yes, that's the one. The Yuki fan club president.
Yeah. Yuki fan club.
But yeah, that was interesting. I actually forgot that she was a senior when we graduated. But I did like how like Sora gave her closure and like moving on from Yuki while also being grateful to him.
Yeah.
Though I wonder if she should have been that grateful to him because he really didn't do anything for her, at least very little.
Well, yeah,
did feel kind of weird.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. I think we talked about this last year in the podcast. Was I think the Motoko loving Yuki thing isn't Motoko loving Yuki. It's loving the idea. Yuki represents to her who she wants to be. This idealized person. It's not who Yuki is, obviously, in real life. And it's just that's who she wants to be. Like it's like looking up to an actor or a musician and being like, I want to be like them, just like them, like when you're young. It's the same thing. Except it's more idolizing than anything. And while yes, it is somewhat unhealthy, she grew out of it. And I think she's at this point grown to realize like that fact that Motoko, yeah, probably like has a lot of really strong feelings for Yuki still, but like it was more the idea behind it rather than just straight up loving him and obsessing with him. So,
and I think it is interesting though with what she was saying. She would like it was not a love confession, so in a way it was like her moving past the feelings she had, acknowledging that they weren't like true romantic feelings that she wanted to pursue. So I think that was interesting, and I did like how like sort of twisted the whole romance ideal.
Yeah, which I thought that scene with her and Yuki was really nice because it put closure to her character, and it really made you like, it made me, in my opinion, it made me feel almost rather impressed and inspirational, like this, because Motoko just like went from being a rather annoying character to someone who's more sympathetic for what she's going through, and by the end she grows from that, and yeah, it was just, it's quite phenomenal, like just her growth by the end of all this.
What I like about it, just with all the characters here, is that there's always more than you see at first glance. Because like at the start of the show, she was like an annoying comic relief character, but there's a lot more to her, even if you don't get a ton of time with her.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think the time we had with her was perfect.
Yeah, she didn't like oversay it, but she was still important, and like with her small story contributing to everything else.
Oh, absolutely. Just honestly, like from beginning to end, her character had served her purpose and was perfect.
Yeah.
And I think like she to me, I don't think Motoko and Yuki would ever be separated, because I feel like they have the potential to be like really good friends, like lifetime friends.
I could see that.
That's the way that I see it, because while they don't really know each other a lot, it just, from the couple of interactions we've seen them and what they've had and what she was talking about and just getting the vibe from all of what we've seen, I feel like Motoko and Yuki would just be really good friends. And
I could definitely see that she might be like a more extreme personality to balance out his like more level-headed personality. And I think that could make a great like friend dynamic. Like you see that already with Yuki and Kakeru.
yeah, for sure. I think that's a big aspect as well. That could work out. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, I suppose. But I think like all of these people will be friends in like 30 years, anyways.
Yeah,
It's just really,
it'd be interesting, like down the road, like how the friendships have evolved and developed and all that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, we missed the part where Kyo fell off a ladder and almost hit Toru.
Oh.
But don't worry, Yuki was there to stop the ladder from hurting Toru.
Oh my god.
And then Yuo and Haya go over there and say, if you ever hurt Toru, we will hurt you. Fuck you.
I love it. I just love how Toru just can't operate a ladder. It's amazing. It's like
Toru's
he had
amazing.
one job, but Toru messed it up because she's Toru. Oh.
I guess I have a story to tell you about a ladder after the podcast.
Uh-oh. Enkidu says Kakeru is the best wingman.
Yes, he is. Kakeru is great. We don't need a Kakeru in our life.
QRW6 says Motoko graduated from being a Yuki fangirl. Yeah, it's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So we got the ladder. We got Nao's confession to the Yuki fan club president. Mokoto, that's her name.
Yeah.
I didn't forget that in like the 2 seconds.
That was really adorable. And when it happened, I was like, it came out of nowhere, but it was a really pleasant surprise. And you can kind of like tell just how Shorty was talking and all that. Like, yeah, you could totally get how this is realistic. How like he would always just see her walk by and had these like kind of longing feelings for this girl.
Well, you mentioned it sort of came out of nowhere, which it did, but they actually foreshadowed it at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Because like they made the comment saying like, I think it was the other girl, Kimi said, "Oh, I bet you actually like like a girl that likes Yuki."
yeah, that's 100% true. It's really clever. It was really clever.
Yeah, that was like it seemed like a random comment, but it being true, just like that worked perfectly.
Yeah, and how like and it makes sense as well why he would see her, because she would always, go up to Yuki or whatever nonsense they were doing, and he would always like see her. And I think that's very sweet.
Yeah,
and I think it probably would make her realize, like, because she has like a really bad self-image about herself. I think having somebody be interested in her would really help out with that kind of thing.
Yeah, like someone who sees her and like away from the fantasy she has about the image of Yuki.
Yeah, and the fantasy she has about herself. As well. Too. Her character is just really awesome. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. We also have had Hinata born.
Oh, that's right.
Hero's sister.
Yeah, Hero's little sister. That was really interesting.
Yeah, it was. Like, in a way, it feels like they're more setting this up to be something greater. But, so I do have a crazy theory with this.
Hinata is the dragon.
I was going to say Hinata was the rooster, but yes, your theory also works.
Well, I guess if that were the case, you would, because you would see that, right?
Well, you'd only see that if she's hugged by someone of the opposite gender.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
And his mother basically asked Hiro to hug her. Hiro said that he couldn't because he'd be hugging a girl. But apparently, if they're also being hugged by the mom at the same time, that wouldn't happen. Though, actually, wait, would that make any sense?
Well, we don't even know if the rooster got passed on. Like, what happens when you break the curse? Does the ability
We don't.
to become the rooster again just go away?
Yeah, I don't know, and I also don't know if that makes sense. Oh, I'm thinking about Hiro hugging Hinata, and assuming she's not the rooster, which is my crazy theory, then that would make Hiro transform. So I wonder, how his mother hugging both of them would deal with that or compensate for that, or it might be Hiro transform, but the mother would still be holding Hinata, so it'd be okay. Though they would wonder why there was a sheep in the middle of the hospital.
Sheep are nice.
I mean, I'd be a bit confused if I saw one in the hospital.
Mama Top says, "Hi, C. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for coming. Much appreciated." Yeah, that whole thing is very interesting. We saw a little bit of Kagura as well in this episode. She had a little bit of a different outfit.
And apparently Ren has gone missing.
Yeah, there's something about Ren that's going on. What do you think it could be?
Yeah, I don't. Well, didn't we see her at the end, what it looked like cutting her hair?
I'm not. She had a knife or something, but
well, she had scissors and it looked like there was hair falling off of it.
Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, she has scissors. Wait, I have the screenshot here. Enhance and zoom.
Yeah, so I think I'm not entirely sure if that is Rin, but it makes sense.
Well, she's at the place, the cage where the Zodiac is, or whatever.
Where they put the cat.
Where they put the cat, yeah. It looks almost like Akito as well, so...
Yes, so... Wait, back in episode 1, we saw Ren sneaking around and Ren found her. Remember?
Yeah.
So, yeah, every episode is ended with a Ren cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, QRW6 says Hattori is a dragon, but there's folklore about the seahorse and dragon connection. And yeah, we know that Hattori represents the dragon.
Sorry about that.
So we show the theory that Hattori is the actual dragon because the dragon made, and we want a dragon to punch the moon because of Sympho gear.
Mm-hmm. Punching.
That's our logic doesn't have to make sense here.
No, we don't need logic. Not logic at all. Logic bad. We don't need any of that. So they explained by the way, just want to bring this up because I forgot. Hiro's mother explained to Hinata's name and what it means, and it means a light on the path.
Yeah.
So what do you think that has any significance at all to the story?
Yes, because it seemed like a random scene to include otherwise.
I think what it signifies is that, and this is just my theory, my guess, is that a light on the path means that they're all headed, everything is headed in the right direction now.
Okay.
Like everything, there is hope for everyone. And Hinata's birth maybe signifies that.
Yeah, I'm wondering what will Hinata feels like she'd be too young to do anything by the end of the story, at least for this fruits basket.
Yeah.
So I also wonder what more will Hiro do, because I want his character to do something cool.
Hiro's gonna do a couple black almost said black flips. What does that even mean? I want Hiro to do a couple backflips.
Okay, I like to see him do that.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Yeah, no, I mean, that'd be cool if Hiro did something
Yeah.
cool in the story.
Yeah, in a way, it feels like they have like so many characters, and it's gonna be hard like tie it all together. We'll give them all like a chance to really shine and contribute to the story.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully they'll pull it off. They still have like plenty of time as they like start wrapping stuff up before too long. Like we have another 20 episodes, so there's time for lots of things.
Yeah, we could do another 500 though, right?
We could have 500 more episodes.
QRW6 says
podcast for a while.
Hatoria is the dragon, but there is a folklore about the seahorse and dragon connection. I think it's Akito. Oh, what I say about the dragon thing, that's a joke that we have on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is that everyone turns into the dragon.
Especially Toru.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the whole thing is Toru the dragon. That's the twist of the season. Or of the whole show, is it ends with Toru turning into a dragon.
Yes, and they're changing it for the anime so manga readers don't know it.
Yep. It's gonna be real.
Exactly.
QRW6, I think it's Akito in my opinion because the others are talking about Ren. So yeah, that could be it.
Well, what if it's Ren? Because like she and Ren both look alike. I have no idea why Ren would be doing that.
I don't know. Maybe she's going to go kill someone. Enkidu says, I like to think of it as Ren getting a free haircut as a graduation present from Akito.
That almost makes sense. I like it.
Superfish says, yeah, Hattori is the dragon. Akito would shave Ren's hair.
I should go get a haircut.
Seems like that was Akito going to cut Ren's hair. We misinterpreted the scene, most likely. I guess some final stuff to mention is I love the scene where Toru gives Kyo the flower.
Oh, yes.
That was so funny. I don't know why, but like a lot of those cute, adorable Toru moments just make me laugh because
it's Toru.
Yeah, she's just a goober.
Yes.
Because she was just like, Kyo, here you go. And Kyo's like, what?
I like how Kyo's the one person who knows how to deal with Toru, but even he doesn't know how to deal with Toru.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Yes, me too.
Any final thoughts on the episode, I guess?
I don't think so. We got through all the notes. We had the Dao, the Hero, the Ren, the Kyo, the Yuki, and the Moon. Yes.
Yeah, I think we got the moon part where Toru punches the moon and becomes a dragon.
Exactly. That's how episode 9 is going to end.
Yep, it totally is. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming out to the Fruits Basket podcast for season 3, episode 3. Rising, where can they find you? What do you got up? What are you up to on your channel?
I mean, I'm working on an SAO review, so that'll be fun. Also completely unrelated to Fruits Basket.
Or maybe the ending of Fruits Basket is Kirito-kun coming out and turning into a dragon.
I mean, considering where the SAO is going at the end, that would not even surprise me.
Oh, Lord. So, yeah, check out Rising. Links in the description for him. And thanks, everybody, for watching the podcast. Thanks, everybody, for coming out this week. Super Bleach and Kadu QRW6. Mama Tav.
Bree,
Stars and Vids, yeah, Bree, Katrina, Dark Ray, the Nudu like Star Wars. Thanks everybody for coming out. Much appreciated. We'll see you next week. We talk about episode 4. Bye-bye.